Hello and welcome back to my shop. Today I'm going to try to do a little video to show folks how to do the initial setup of the Mach 3 settings for your Gatton CNC. Some of these will also apply to a GarageWorks CNC if you've got one of those. And in fact some of the settings may apply to a lot of different CNCs, but this is mainly for the folks that have or are building a Gatton CNC. I've noticed on the Facebook group that there's some folks over there still having some trouble with getting these initial settings right, getting the machine to move the correct way, and getting their first part to come out right. So I'm going to try to go through all of these, one step at a time, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll have your machine jogging and moving the correct direction and everything like that, and you'll also be able to know how to run a test part and check your measurements to make sure you're at least within some reasonable tolerance before you start running your first part. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so you've got Mach 3 installed on your computer that you're going to use with your Gatton CNC. Now let's open up Mach 3 and we'll go through how to put these settings in. Notice I have a Mach 3 loader icon on my desktop here. That's just for convenience, but in case you might not have that, you can go to it by hitting Start, All Programs, and then come to Mach 3 and click on the Mach 3 loader. And this is what it should look like when you have just a brand new version of Mach 3 on your computer. You should have Mach 3 mill, Mach 3 turn, plasma, and the rotary axis. Those are the profiles that come with the software. We want to create a new profile for our Gatton CNC, so we'll hit Create Profile. Over here in the new profile name, we'll put Gatton CNC. And we also want to clone from Mach 3 mill, which is going to be fairly close to a CNC router. It's not exact, but it'll get some of the settings correct for us. So we'll hit OK. Now you can see that the Gatton CNC is showing up in the current profile, so we'll open it by clicking OK. And you will see that it, as it opened, it knows that I have a UC100 motion controller connected to it. So I'm going to select my UC100, then I'm going to hit OK. And the reset is flashing just like it's an e-stop, and the reason I can't turn that off is because they have it turned on in this sample, that profile that we cloned from, which was the Mach 3 mill. So we're going to come over here. I'm going to open up ports and pins and go to input signals, and then I'll scroll down here to where the e-stop is. I'll disable that, and I'll even hit a 0 and then click apply, and that will get rid of that e-stop condition down here, so I can now hit that and turn that off. Okay, before we get started, I wanted to point out that all of these settings that I'm about to put in are over here on the DaveGatton.com website. If you come to, this is the home page. If you come over here to where it says Purchase Gatton CNC, and then you'll see a blue button down here that says Mach 3 settings for the Gatton CNC. And what I have done here is put all the screenshots that make it real easy. So all you have to do is go through each screenshot here and make your page look just like these pages, and you should have all the correct settings in there. So we're going to start out doing this in the Mach 3 software, and we'll come back and compare to make sure that they match these settings here. So we're going to start off by selecting our units that we want to use. Select the native units. This also pops up with a message telling you don't use this to change between metric and English G code. You want to change your profile with, use one for a metric measurements if you're running a program that's been done in metric. So we'll click OK there. We want inches, and if you'd rather have millimeters, you could set that, but it's already set in inches. and I want that, so I'm going to click OK. Next, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go config, and I'm going to kind of jump around here a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and slave the axis. You know, this only has the X, Y, and Z, but you know, the Gatton CNC uses 4 steppers, uses an A axis, and it is slaved with the Y axis. So I want to make sure that I have the Y axis slaved with the A axis here, and then you'll notice it says restart Mach 3 after resetting these selections. So when I click OK, it'll again remind me to restart the program for slaving changes to take effect. So I'll click OK, and I'll come over here and save my settings of what I have so far, and then that's actually saving to the XML file, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. So now I will exit this Mach 3, and we'll go ahead and restart it so that that slave will take effect. Opening up the Gatton CNC profile once again. And now you can see that the UC100 CNC motion controller is now the one that it's selected. So I click OK. Turn that back off again. And now we're going to come down here to ports and pins. That would be the next thing we set up. The ports and pins, the kernel speed here is set at 25,000. That again is by default. That's assuming you're running a parallel port and using an old computer that still has a parallel port. My computer does not. I'm going to be running the UC100, and it needs to run at 100 kilohertz. So that would be the only reason you would need to change that. If you're using an old clunker computer with a parallel port, you would leave it set on 25,000 here. So we'll click apply, and then OK. And again, I'm going to keep coming over here and saving these settings as I go. We'll come down here next, back to ports and pins again. We'll slide over to motor outputs, and this is where we enable our motors. And as you know, a Gatton CNC uses 4 stepper motors, so I have the X, Y, and Z already enabled, but now I'm going to put a green check there to enable the A axis so that that motor will get power. And then I need to change these settings a little bit. If I go back here and look at my screens, you'll notice that it's 2 and 3 for the X, 4 and 5 for the Y, 6 and 7 for the Z, and 8 and 9 for the A. So real easy to remember there. So I just come back and go 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, and 8 and 9. Okay, and again, I got those 4 enabled. Got all the step port and step pins and direction pin settings correct, and also over here the step ports need to be 1. You want to keep all these X's here where it says direct low active. If you check that, that will change the direction of your motor, but that is not the correct way to get it to change direction. I'll show you that here in just a little bit on another page. So we click apply, click OK, and we're going to go ahead and save those settings again. Now we'll come down to the ports and pins, and let's see, we just finished the motor outputs. We don't have anything, we're not concerned with homing switches or anything like that at this time. We just want to get the machine with the basic settings and make sure that it's moving in the correct direction so that our parts will come out correct and won't come out backwards or mirrored. So we're not going to worry about anything else on this page right now. So we'll come back to config, come down to the motor tuning, and this is where we're going to set our steps per unit. And with the Gatton CNC as well as a GarageWorks CNC, it uses the 1/2 inch diameter by 10 threads per inch 5-star lead screws, and the drivers from Xylotex are set at 1/16 step. So the correct number to be put in here for the steps per unit will be 6,400. I'm going to set the x-axis velocity, and this is the maximum. When I put this in, this means that I'm telling it can move a maximum of 200 inches per minute. You can maybe change that later, but for right now 200 is a good place to start. Okay, these other numbers are okay. One thing about this, you don't want to move on to the y-axis until you've saved those settings, because for each one you have to save them. If you don't click the save axis setting button and go on to the y, it'll revert back to the original numbers that were in there. So we're going to hit save axis setting. Now we'll move on to the y. Again, it's going to be pretty much the same, 6,400 for the steps per unit. I'm going to put 200 there. We're going to hit save axis setting. For the Z, I can do it a little bit different. It's still going to be the same 6,400 steps per unit. The velocity, I'm going to leave it at 120. The Z doesn't have as far to travel, so it really doesn't need to go to 200 because it's probably not going to reach it anyway. So I'm going to leave that at 120 and select save axis settings. And now we did enable the A-axis a while ago, but the A-axis, as far as these motor movements here, you don't need to worry about putting anything in there, because since the A is slaved with the Y, it gets all its information from the Y-axis motor movement profile. So you don't have to put that in for the A. You can if you want, but it doesn't do anything. So we'll move on and click OK. Now we'll come down to, let's go ahead and go to general configuration. This really doesn't matter. It says A-axis is angular, ours is linear. It doesn't really matter whether that's checked or not because of that A-axis being slaved. Another thing you may want to check, and again I'm just showing the screen for the new guys that don't know, but you may want to check the high resolution screen if you're using one, and also the auto screen enlarge. A lot of times when you first install Mach 3 and you open it up, it's only taking up about 2/3 of the screen. So if you hit that and then shut this off, shut it down, restart it, it will automatically enlarge and fill the screen like mine is showing here. Okay. Let's go to the system hotkeys. This is showing how to get these to move the correct, or what arrow keys you're going to use to move it. So if you have the X++, which means X positive, I want that to be the right arrow, because if it travels to the right, that will make that number here increase and go in the positive direction. The negative X will be the left arrow key, which is 37. And you notice none of these are changing. It's because they already come in correct with that other Mach 3 mil profile. Y plus would be the up arrow key, which would be 38. Y minus would be the down arrow key, which is 40. The Z plus would be the page up key, which is 33, and then the Z minus will be the page down key, which is 34. And like I said, you may or may not have to even change those. You can look at that and compare it to the screenshot that I have, and if it's correct, you won't even have to change those. Okay, and then we're getting about down to the end here. One of the last things that we need to check is the homing limits, and this is one of the things that's really important. And what this means is this is how you reverse the motors. Remember I told you earlier that changing that active high or low, that does reverse the motors, but that's not the correct way to get it to change direction if it's going the wrong way. And this is how we want to do it here. Well, if I come back over to that website and go to the screenshot that shows that particular page, here we are, you can see that I need to reverse the X, Y, and the A. The Z is running in the correct direction, but I need to change the X, Y, and A, and all I do is put a green check instead of that red X. So we'll come back over here. I just click this, put a green check right there, this, and again, all this over here has to do with the zeroing, auto zero. If you have homing switches, right now we're not concerned with that. We're just trying to get the machine up and moving around and jogging in the right direction. So if I click OK, and then if I come over here, and let's just say I'm going to zero this all out where it's at. If I push the right arrow key, notice that the DRO up here goes in the positive direction. So your carriage should be moving to the right, from left to right. And if I hit the left arrow key, it should be moving from right to left. That has to be correct. None of your programs are going to run right if that's not moving the right way. So if it's not, come back here and make sure you check your settings in homing limits and make sure you have the correct ones reversed. Okay, same thing with the Y. When I hit the up arrow, the gantry should move from the front of the table to the back of the table, so that number should get large there. If I move the down arrow, the gantry should move from the back of the table to the front of the table, which will mean the numbers will now go into the negative direction. Okay, same thing with the Z. If I hit page up, the Z axis should move up and the number should get in the positive direction. If I press page down, the router should come down towards your workpiece and start getting into the negative numbers. So all those three axes have to be moving in the correct direction for any of your parts to come out right. So we're going to go ahead and save these settings once more, and now I want to show you real quick about the XML file that I was talking about. If I come over here to my Mach3 directory and I scroll down, you'll see that I now have a Gatton CNC XML file, and that's basically the file that you want to back up and make sure you keep handy somewhere on another computer or flash drive or someplace safe, because if your Mach3 crashes or your computer crashes and you have to reinstall it again, instead of going through what we just did and setting all those settings up, all you have to do is grab that Gatton CNC XML file, put it in the main directory of Mach3, and then restart Mach3, and your profile and all your settings will be there. So I can't stress enough how important that is to have that file backed up. Because a lot of people don't, that's why I have these screenshots over here to help you set it up not only the first time, but everybody seems to forget to save that XML file, and their computer crashes after a while and now they don't remember what any of the settings were. So this is an easy way. Go check the screenshots to make sure they're right. An even better way is to make sure you've got that XML file backed up someplace. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do for this video. I don't want to make these too long. I do want to go, I'll probably break this up and put a separate video where I'm showing you how you can run your first sample part. You should always run a simple 2D part, again, to make sure everything's moving in the right direction and make sure parts don't come out mirrored or reversed and things like that, you know, before you move on trying to do something more difficult. So I'll end this video here, and I'll go back out to the shop and we'll run a test program in the next video. Thank you for watching.